Welcome to the show, guys. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor. Got an exciting one here for you. I'm on with Jimmy the Maverick. We're going to do a fantasy football mock draft. I'm drafting from the 12th position. He's drafting from the first position. Welcome to the show, Jim. I'm excited to dive into this draft.
I'm excited too, man. I like to see what's going on right now and what players I can get. So, and I have been blessed and cursed with the number one overall pick. Always a stressful thing. I don't like the number one pick, but I'm going to go for it anyway. And according to my app, the consensus number one overall player you can select is Bijan Robinson. And I'm just going to go with that because I love Bijan. I'm excited for his upside this year. I think he's going to be fantastic. And so let's go ahead and we will take him first.
All right, it's going to auto-populate. So if you're in the car, we're going to walk you through this, guys. We're diving right in. We are full flow fantasy football season. It is here, guys. Fantasy football is here. Make sure you grab the 16-round draft solution and the 16-round plus draft app tool at thefantasyfootballcounselor.com under progress. Going to put you light years ahead of the competition, okay, guys? And also going to be doing the full mock draft, but I'm only going to be doing that for the Patreon members, guys. Here in this mock draft, we're just going to be going through the first 5 rounds, building your foundation here on YouTube. If you want the full mock draft, I will be providing it in the Patreon group, patreon.com/FF Counselor for the generals, a top tier group in there. We'll get access to the full mock draft. So patreon.com/FF Counselor for the full mock draft. Now, if you're in the car, let's dive into this, okay, guys? So this is based on consensus rankings. Jimmy went by Bijan Robinson, who I love too as well. Tons of upside. The Falcons ran the ball 500 times last year. He's going to be a beneficiary. So Bijan, Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Christian McCaffrey, Cooper Kupp, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, and I'm on the clock. Jim, what do I do here? I got to ask you. Now, look at this. Jonathan Taylor has fallen because of the uncertainty. Derrick Henry's there. There's a ton of options. I like to go back-to-back running backs here. And you know what? I don't mind going a Derrick Henry or a Nick Chubb and a Najee Harris stack here back-to-back. Taking a quick glance at wide receiver. Amon St. Brown, Garrett Wilson there as well. Jim, what are you liking here? I have my pick set in my mind. Who are you liking here on this turn here at the 12 and 13 pick?
Well, I do very much like Nick Chubb. I think he's going to be fantastic this year. They got rid of Kareem Hunt, so it is his backfield and his backfield alone by far. And a great offensive line. That's another thing that Cleveland has.
Right.
So I'm real comfortable with taking him with my first pick. And I would like to get also an ace wide receiver. There's some good names there, including Garrett Wilson, CeeDee Lamb on a contract year, Amon-Ra on a contract year. Stephon Diggs, who I like not as much as those other guys, but he should be solid as well. I'd probably go 1-1 here. I'd take an ace wide receiver, get yourself your ace running back, and you'll be able to get other running backs when it comes back to you for the third pick.
And you know me, I listen to absolutely nobody. So, but here's the thing, because I think that here's a quick strategy here. Now, if we're looking at this, I could literally go Nick Chubb or Jonathan Taylor, who again has done surgery, or Derrick Henry, and get that wide receiver. And I still think Jahmyr Gibbs could fall, and I can still get myself a Dameon Pierce, who I feel safe with, and still get my 3 running backs. So let's attempt this. Let's try this. Let's go, again, I love Taylor. So I still think he has to perform. I know there's contract issues there, but he's risky, right? So let's just go for argument's sake. Let's play it super safe. Let's go Nick Chubb here, which again, he is primed for a workload. I feel a little more upside with a Jonathan Taylor, a Derrick Henry, even a Najee Harris, who's entering close to a contract here. And then I go wide receiver here. I go the upside of a Garrett Wilson. And let's see how this plays out. Let's see what running backs fall back when they come to us. So, Jim, I know you're going to come back on the 2.12 and the 3.01, but I'm going to read off here for the people listening in the car. I went Nick Chubb, Garrett Wilson, then CeeDee Lamb, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor. I can't believe Taylor is falling, obviously, with the contract stuff. Derrick Henry, Josh Allen coming off very early here, and you can wait on quarterback this year a little bit. I like Herbert. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Chris Olave, Stevenson, who I think is not going to end up in the same situation that he's going to be in, which, I think the Patriots are going to screw that up. And then you're up here on the turn here, 12.12 and 3.01. Second, third round turn here. Jim, what are you thinking?
Well, I got to tell you, man. Unfortunately, Chris Olave did not make it back to me. I was a little disappointed with that. He was a long shot anyway to get to me, but he was my top-rated player. Najee Harris is my next top-rated player, so I very much like him. And Jameer Gibbs is also available here. Now, the thing is. I kind of want to get myself a really good wide receiver before they're all gone. And
Right.
looking at the list, oh boy, man, it's a bunch of twos. Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, Devonta Smith. Not thrilled with those guys. Um, DK Metcalf, Amari Cooper. Boy. What do I want to do here? This is a little bit tough. I could just go robust RB and just go with it.
Yeah.
Because again, I do love Najee. I do love Jameer Gibbs. Joe Mixon still on the board. Brees Hall, Travis Etienne, Aaron Jones. Not real thrilled with any of those guys. But
You're just
I'm
hitting
going to
my
go with
guys.
my two highest rated players. I know you talked about wanting Jameer Gibbs. He's not going to make it back to you.
Ah.
I know that you would make it back to you anyway. I see he's going at about pick 31. He's not going to make it to pick 36. So I'm going robust here. I'm going Najee and I'm going Jameer. I got two rookies
Oh.
in my first three picks. I do like that.
Well, you stole my guys here. Now this is gonna make it tough. This is why I don't like to go wide receiver here at the second pick. I like to get myself my running backs here, and I don't feel warm and fuzzy at the running back position already. I obviously here my guy is gone, Jameer Gibbs. So Jameer Gibbs, Brees Hall comes off. We're talking third round here. Pat Mahomes, Jalen Waddle. Travis Etienne, Doug Peterson just came out and said he's going to go for 1,600 scrimmage yards. I don't believe it. Don't believe anything the coaches say. T. Higgins, very early for a wide receiver, 2 on his team coming off in round 3. Tons of wide receiver ones I'd rather have over T. Higgins. Jalen Hurts, this is what we explain in 16 round drafts. You're always aiming high on the depth chart, avoiding these guys that are like Waddle and Higgins. No, there's other guys that are going to supersede them easily. You can get later. Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, another wide receiver, too. Crazy. Kenneth Walker, who I'd rather have Charbonnet later. It might be a 60-40 split, 50-50. Kenneth Walker has given me 3 red flags on why he's injury prone. Got hurt last year. They drafted Charbonnet in the second round, who's a workhorse in his own right, and he had the recent groin injury. So too many red flags around Kenneth Walker. Mark Andrews, very early for a tight end here. Aaron Jones, again, Dylan's going to be a factor here. So we're on the clock here. I'm on the clock. And my running backs are gone. And this is what I'm telling you. This is what I want to emphasize. And I want to hammer this home, Jim. Let me make this screen a little bit bigger so people can see my big, ugly face here. Screaming at you, okay? Jim, I don't know what else to tell you here, but if you don't go running backs in the first 3 picks, your options suck. They're trash. Other than Dameon Pierce, who could be a workhorse, Madison, maybe. But take a look at this here, Jim. Joe Mixon, I just not sold on the guy's character. The guy punched out a girl, prior to his NFL career, and he's had his injuries, and he's passed his hurrah. I know the offense is good, but I just don't like the guy. So yes, I take personality into effect. That's why I'm avoiding Alvin Kamara, who's had his off-field issues as well. So you got a guy like him. You got a guy I don't like. Miles Sanders, Carolina, a new offense. J.K. Dobbins, in case they're healthy to save his life. Cam Akers could boom, but he's got years to wow us. We're not wowed. So now I put myself into a situation where I'm not comfortable warm and fuzzy at running back, okay? But let's take a look at wide receiver quick. DK Metcalf, don't care for. Amari Cooper, don't care for. Keenan Allen, he's washed up. I would never spend a third-round pick on Keenan Allen when I can get Quentin Johnston later. Doing that would be like literally drafting Adam Thielen before Jefferson like last year. That's my mentality, right? I do like Ridley here. I do like him. I'm just going to go ahead and go for the upside of Ridley here at the 3. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab Dameon Pierce because I think he's a workhorse running back with the 4. Now I've got 2 major upside wide receivers with a ton of upside, and I'm still able to salvage what I can at the running back position and get Dameon Pierce with the 4.01 here. So what do you think of those picks, Jim? Are you liking the upside of Ridley?
Oh yeah, I love Ridley this year. I think he's going to be fantastic, and to get him as your wide receiver too is great. So you've got a solid core going right now. I know you don't have your third running back, which you like to have, but
Yeah.
I'm not at all crying about Garrett Wilson and Calvin Ridley being my 2 wide receivers. So remember, I don't even have a wide receiver yet. So so I got to figure that out.
Yeah, let me interject here for 2 reasons. Number 1, I want to recap round 4 here. Dameon Pierce, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, DK Metcalf, TJ Hawkinson, Jerry Jeudy, Miles Sanders, Deebo Samuel, Lamar Jackson, George Kittle, and Keenan Allen. Now, one thing I want to say before you get into your picks is there's a ton of wide receiver ones still available. Amari Cooper, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, potentially DeAndre Hopkins, Drake London, Christian Watson, questionable wide receiver ones, but wide receiver ones, Deontay Johnson, Michael Pittman, Mike Evans, Treylon Burks could be a wide receiver one. We don't know, right? And then you got like tons of sleeper guys that could absolutely go off, which again, we go over in 16 rounds. So Jim, tons of depth as you're seeing at the wide receiver position here still.
Yeah, it's good, not great. And let's see here. We've got let's see here. We also have some quarterbacks still on the board that I like: Justin Fields, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence still there. As far as running backs go, I don't need any running backs right now, so I'm gonna pass on them.
Yeah.
But I do definitely need to get myself some wide receivers here. Someone who I haven't gotten this year, but I do very much like Justin Fields. I think is a fantastic option for
I don't
fantasy
trust them.
football.
I don't
The
trust.
rushing upside of this guy is tremendous, and I haven't gotten any shares of him yet, so I think I'm going to take him with one of my picks. But I definitely got to get myself
No. I
what
don't.
what what what.
I don't trust Justin Fields, but that's just me. But you go ahead and take him if we're playing against each other.
Oh,
I
well, he's durable, and again, it's like having a fourth running back. I mean, seriously, he's going to give you
Yeah,
1,000 yards or 1,000 rushing yards this year.
good.
So I love that. But I do absolutely need a wide receiver here. My top rated wide receiver is actually Deontay Johnson, but Terry McLaurin also scores really well. Drake London is pretty good, not quite as good as Deontay. Um, and Amari Cooper, let's see here. He shouldn't have even made it to me. So let's see. How does he rate right now on the app? Amari Cooper. Oh, Amari Cooper rates very well, even though he's rather inconsistent. But I'll tell you what, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Amari Cooper.
Now let me show you,
And
Jim. I'm gonna do. I
uh,
don't know if I could do a quick screen share here and show you the app real quick. It's gonna just fade out for a second here, guys, while I select
yeah.
60
And
round.
and you know what? I'm going to go for the highest rated player, the wide receiver, Deontay Johnson. I know this is a reach, but he's not going to make it back to me on my next pick. So I
Yeah.
don't really consider it a reach if he's going to be gone by your next pick. But I love Deontay Johnson. He's going to be a big bounce back year for him, high volume player. So I'm grabbing him with my second pick. I'm not going to get a quarterback. I'm going to wait to see who maybe makes it back to me.
Yeah, and I've kind of changed my mind on Debo Samuel here. You might want to update the app, Jim. So we're telling everybody publicly we do update the app regularly. 16 round
Yes.
plus. Here's how the app works here, guys. You can see here the recommendations for third to fourth round pick. And the cool thing about it is, let's say Deontay Johnson says that he's due for a bounce back year. It tells you that he's a recommendation, and he tells you everything. All of these. What's the one here, Jim? What is the one? He's the number one receiver on his team.
Oh, number one receiver. That's all the number one receivers are marked.
And if they're
So
and if they're in an injury, it tells you designation. So if you guys want this draft app tool, it's amazing. It gives you all the players that are recommended in those rounds. It tells you if they're in a contract year. Everything is there. 16 round plus, guys. Grab this draft tool at thefantasyfootballcounselor.com under programs, guys. Going to give you a lot of insights, and it's mobile friendly, so you guys are able to use it on the fly too as well. All right, so let me go back to sharing the screen here, back to the app. So what did you do? You went Amari Cooper and Deontay. Now here's the thing, Jim. Because you did that, you're now not able to get probably your ace quarterback. You're not able to get. You're going to miss out on Trevor Lawrence. You're going to miss out on Justin Herbert. You're going to miss out on a lot here. Herbert came off right after your pick, as you noticed. But for me, now this is really nice here. I get to stack. I get Trevor Lawrence here, Jim, which is really, really nice. Let me move our
oh,
face.
and you get to stack him with Ridley. That is good.
All right, so yeah, I mean this is nice. I get to go Trevor Lawrence, and I got Ridley. So here's the deal, guys. I want to emphasize this to you guys here on YouTube before we stop this here and end this off at round 5. I might even make my 6th pick here as well. What happens here, guys, is this is the year you want to anchor with an ace quarterback, okay? So everybody's come off the board here is relatively safe. I'm not really sold on Lamar Jackson. I'm not sold on Justin Fields as much. Burrow don't feel as warm and fuzzy as well. That injury, that kind of bothered me as of late. But here's the deal. Because there's a lot of question marks at quarterback, you've got all these young guys. You got Purdy, you got rookie quarterbacks, you got Anthony Richardson, you got CJ Stroud, you got Aaron Rodgers to a new location, you got Russell Wilson off a bad year. All these question marks at quarterback, it's so crucial that you get a Justin Herbert or a Trevor Lawrence or someone who's a little more safe here round 5. And after that, you're basically rolling the dice. I don't, believe in Dak Prescott, Tua and his concussions. Daniel Jones, high paid, hasn't been that amazing. I mean, you can get your safe guys later, Jared Goff's and that, but you're not going to get those upside guys. So I really like Trevor Lawrence this year. I would have preferred Herbert here. Again, both great options. I just have to go Trevor Lawrence here with my 5th pick. And then that puts me in a beautiful stack there with Calvin Ridley. Now, to stack or not to stack, I typically don't make a point to stack. If it happens and it falls like this, I do. But Jim, are you for a stack? Are you to stack or not to stack? What do you think?
Well, for best ball, I definitely like to stack. I'm not as concerned about it with teams that you have to manage, but it is a nice bonus. I mean, it is a nice thing that if that quarterback throws a touchdown to that receiver, you get 10 points. That's a 10-point play instead of a 6-point or a 4-point play. So that's good. And I do think the touchdown upside with someone like Calvin Ridley is very high. So
Right.
that should be beneficial. And that's a great stack that fell in your lap, which is nice. I'm thinking if Deshaun Watson makes it back to me, I take him, and then I have the stack with Amari Cooper. But we'll see what happens on after your next pick.
Okay, again, this has not gone the way that I like it. Again, because I really wanted a third workhorse for Mike, because I don't trust these guys as far as I can throw them. I don't like Kamara. I don't like Swift. I don't like James Cooks. I don't like any of these guys. There's a bunch of guys I like as sleepers later on, which we'll get to as we fill out this draft. But as of right now, I don't really like the situation. Again, go get the 16-round draft session where I go over different scenarios on this. First, 6th, and 12th pick. Make sure you have 16-round drafts, so stuff like that below as well, to combat the situation. But since we're doing this on the fly, again, these running backs really concern me. Javonte Williams here in the 6th round. I mean, he could really tear it up. I do need a running back. Wide receivers here. I mean, I've already got 2 wide receivers. I don't need that. I've got my quarterback. I take a quick glance at tight end here, and there's a ton of tight end sleepers I can get later. So I'm in a situation here, Jim, where I've done something counterintuitive. I don't like the way that it looks right now. I don't feel warm and fuzzy at running back, and I don't like the running backs available here. So I got to just basically take a look at the best possible player. And again, there's tons of wide receivers I can get later. I'm just going to, I don't feel warm and fuzzy here, but he's the best available running back, I think, with the highest ceiling. David Montgomery, I'm not sold on because I'm a big Gibbs guy. Kamara, I don't trust. Dylan, he's theoretically the wide receiver too. I'm going to have
I gotta, if I could just throw in
Sure.
here, the wide receivers, there's some really good wide receivers. Christian Watson is still sitting there. So is Terry McLaurin. I like both those guys, man.
But I feel like I can go wide receiver later and still be rock solid, because there's a lot of guys like Quentin Johnson I can get later who I believe is going to be the wide receiver 1 on his team. I'm just going to go ahead and build my running backs. I don't feel as warm and fuzzy, but I'm just going to go ahead and get Javonte Williams here. Now I've got my 3 workhorse running backs. This kind of starts building that sneaky 7 formula, which I explained in the 16-round draft solution. So let me get everybody caught up here. Round 4, Jim went Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson. Herbert came off the board round 5. J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers, Alexander Madison, DeAndre Hopkins, Rashad White, Drake London, Dalvin Cook, who's still a free agent. I don't know why people would draft him. He's on the tail end of his career. Justin Fields, Dallas Goedert, way too early for him. There's way more upside guys like Sam Laporta I can get later who have more ceiling than Dallas Goedert, in my opinion. Trevor Lawrence and Javonte Williams is what I went back to back. So if you guys are here on YouTube, make sure you guys join the Patreon group for the full mock draft here. And if you want to see full mock drafts, grab the 16-round draft solution. I've linked it below. But the full mock draft is at patreon.com/FF Counselor. Make sure you guys head on over there and grab the 16-round plus draft app tool, where we kind of give you a sneak peek into that. And we're going to continue on here with everybody here on Patreon. Jim, do you want to say bye to everybody on YouTube?
Hey, yeah, everybody. Thank you for watching. And let us know what you think of the teams.
All right, guys, we're out on YouTube. Subscribe, thumbs up. We'll talk soon, and drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys think of the mock draft so far. Lots of insight here for you here on YouTube and the podcast. We'll talk soon. We're out.